All right. Good morning and welcome to this fabulous Monday morning. Another week has come and gone, and here we are again. I want to thank you for joining me today in my continuing education. This is all about learning a lifestyle change because too many people do not know how many choices they really have in today's society. And we have, especially in the United States, we have so much disease on the rise. We don't get healthier, even though the healthcare system I consider is broken because they spend $2.8 trillion and we're not any healthier. So what my continuing education is all about is helping you learn what you can do or use in place of or as part of a protocol and bringing both Western and Eastern ideas together. So this is about using essential oils. I love being able to use them because for me, that's important, right? Because I don't know where my life would be if I didn't have them. Many, many, many times I am thankful that I have something that I can reach for that is safe. It's a simple solution. I can use it on me. I can use it on my pets, my dogs, my cats, my horses, my chickens, all of those. Yesterday, I had a horse class. I went to Oregon, had a great horse class, and we actually got to help fix a horse. And it's always amazing to me what we can do that will benefit not only us, but our animals. So today, I want to talk about a little tiny package. And it's a very small package. And it's a package that comes like this, very small, and it's correct X. What is that? This is what it looks like, just a little tube. So if we look at this little tiny tube of ointment really packs a big punch. And we're going to discuss that. First, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Diana Hinkle. And what I do is teach you on a different lifestyle and what you can choose. I actually left a dental career after 30 years to join forces with others to help you understand what you can do and the choices that you do have, because you don't know what you don't know. And when I was introduced to the essential oil world, I was like, there's no way, absolutely no way. I'm used to Western medicine. But again, I'm also a thinker, and I'm one of those that there's got to be a different way. And to know a little bit more about me, I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 12, complained about it for a couple of years prior to that. And so at age 12, they actually x-rayed my knees after they x-rayed my back. And I was like, what do my knees have to do with it? Well, I was already done growing at age 12. And so I've been pretty much this height all for a long time. I have shrunk though, but that's because I don't have a lot of cartilage left between my vertebrae. So I'm going to shrink, but it's a natural process anyway. Most of us will shrink as we get older into our old age. Not saying that I'm old, okay? You're only as old as you feel. So I really wanted to talk about this little tiny tube because it does so much for us and it's such a value. Now, most people, first off, most of you are familiar with Neosporin, right? That's the go-to for an antibiotic ointment. What this is pretty much the same thing, but however, there's nothing in here that's harmful. There is no sulfa, for one. Neosporin does. And there's some other ingredients in there too that I've heard people be allergic to. And so what can you reach for that's natural substance? And if you do not know what an essential oil is, please reference some of my other videos. You can find me on YouTube. And go to my channel, Diana Messler, or Diana Hinkle, that's with an E, and find out what essential oils are really all about. What this does, this ointment has the essential oils in it. And it's fun to use, very easy to use, and it's a wound care, right? Because we're used to Neosporin as a wound care. So what else could we do with something like this? Now, talk about value. Oh my gosh. It only takes a teeny tiny bit like that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's really super little. This tube can last a long time, depending on who you're using it on, what kind of animal, and I'm going to put it on the back of my neck. Why would I put it on the back of my neck? Well, when you're familiar with essential oils, there are places that you place your essential oil. It's going to be on the back of your neck, behind your ears, temples, maybe your sinuses, your throat, back of your neck, bottom of your feet, or the place of concern, your wrist, for instance, okay? There are many places you can place your essential oils, and we get to use them 3 different ways: aromatically, topically, and internally. Now, I use doTERRA essential oils, and the reason I use doTERRA is because I know that their integrity is 100% to the product, not because of the money, not because they're looking to be the biggest essential oil company, which, however, they are, and they did that in less than 5 years. I think that's incredible. But it's all about what you find in your...
I'm ready.
It's all about finding what you need and knowing that you have something that is very good to use, and that's certified pure therapeutic grade. So doTERRA is the most tested and most trusted. And that's why there's over almost 8 million people using doTERRA products in one way or another. And we have everything from skincare to supplements. So that's something to think about when it comes to doTERRA. But let's get back to CorrectX. Let's break it down. What is in CorrectX? And we're going to do it one at a time. So what's in here? So when you look at a label, anytime you look at a label, and I really hope that you're a label reader, because that's very important to becoming different or changing your lifestyle, is to become that label reader. Because if you're not, learn. Because learning about reading those labels, if you start looking at them, you're going to just be probably devastated for most of us, because they hide a lot of things in there, in products that we don't know about. The government or the FDA doesn't make them tell you every single ingredient. They don't have to. And whether it's organic foods, whether it's canned foods, frozen foods, what are they putting on your product before they ever put it in? What are they washing it with? What are the chemicals being placed on your food before it's frozen, before it's canned, or even organic? What are they putting on that after they harvest the product so that it gets to the store so that you can eat it? Those are things you really got to think about, because that's true fact. And they don't tell you. They just think, well, organic's the best. Well, organic can be good, but it's not necessarily the best. So really think about what you're putting in your body. Now, I'm going to say, we can't get away from it. We have to feed the masses, right? Unless you have the ability to raise your own product, own fruits, own vegetables, then you know what you have. and you know how you're growing it, and you know how you're canning it, all those things, you know how you're freezing it. But we can't do that. In society today, just can't do that. We have too many people. And so with that, think about the toxins and the chemicals you're exposed to on a daily basis. And you wonder why, we wonder why we have disease that is on the rise, especially in the United States. A lot of things that the United States uses in their product that is banned in other countries. Okay, that's another thing, aspect that you really need to think about. So, Correct X, this little tube. The first ingredients, when you read in a label, number one ingredient is always going to be the first thing listed. And then it goes in order of last thing. First thing, last thing. So the largest amount is going to be the first ingredient. The least amount is going to be the last ingredient. So with Correct X, the very first ingredient is frankincense. Then we have Helichrysum, then cedarwood, Melaleuca, and lavender. So let's look at every single essential oil. What does it do? And then I'll tell you all the options you can use this with besides wound care, things that you probably wouldn't think about. And by the way, I do use this on my chickens, and I do use this on my horses. I do use this on myself, and I do use this on my dogs. I don't think I've had to use it on my cats yet. And there's a reason why I don't use it on my cats, but I'll explain that. So let's look at frankincense. Oh my gosh, frankincense is our number one to go to for an anti-inflammatory, right? So when you think about the anti-inflammatory properties of Correct X, it's already there, but it's in an ointment. So when you're using essential oils, we also want to use it in a carrier because you actually get better results and from using a carrier. Why do I say that? Because we have skin layer, okay? Our skin has several different layers. And so there's an evaporation process when we use essential oil. So if you use a carrier oil or like a lotion or something to help it, it kind of acts as a Band-Aid. It keeps it right there, okay? And that being that this is in an ointment, you get to keep it right there. Now, essential oils though, it only takes 30 seconds for it to enter into the bloodstream, 30 seconds. So we can have a response within 30 seconds. Now we're using an ointment, so we're not thinking about that kind of reaction, right? We're thinking about the properties that each essential oil has that it gives us to help us. So frankincense in itself is, it is a steam distilled, first off, and we get it from Somalia. Our frankincense comes from Somalia. I know a lot of people at Somalia, yes, that's where it comes from. We actually have an exclusive contract, and there are different species of frankincense. And so our frankincense, or doTERRA's frankincense, has 3 types of constituents, or the frankincense in there, in that one bottle. So when you see frankincense and you don't, and it's like, hey, essential oils are everywhere, right? If you see a bottle of frankincense for $6.99, do you really think you're getting all frankincense? Frankincense should be expensive. It really is. And so, or I should say, it's expensive, but it does a lot for you. And so what is your health worth? That's number one, right? And so I'm not going to go into the science part of it because I don't want to take up all day long, and because I had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, but that's okay. It's called don't be tired when you do certain things. But frankincense in itself is good for cancer, tumors. So how many of you know someone that may have a type of skin cancer, that they're a lesion? Well, think about Correct X. It already is an ointment. It's already, frankincense is in there, and frankincense is really good for that. We do have another product called DDR Prime, which is really good as well. And I do know people that have used all kinds of things and nothing helped but that. But also when you start thinking about that anti-inflammatory properties, the other things that it can do for you, like help with warts. What about skin tags? Think about that. You can also use it as, you know, mothers, when they're first starting out with a newborn, sometimes our nipples get a little bit on the sore side. And this is something you can do that will not only be safe for the baby, but it's something that you can apply, and it will help in not only just being an ointment, but it will actually help in the healing process. So of course, the wound, any kind of wound, wrinkles even, scars, maybe stretch marks, we can look at that. This is what frankincense is for. So when we think about all those things that it is actually good for, it's like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't I want this, right? And so if it's an anti-inflammatory, what do you need to create something or have something that's reducing inflammation? And so frankincense is Boswellia farina. So when you, even in those of you that are in the horse world, look at your anti-inflammatory products, and if you see the word Boswellia, it's frankincense. So go to frankincense instead. It costs you less money. You can make your own little, whether it's a salve or just use this, the correct X, or you can make your own treat with the frankincense in there, and you're doing everything. I know people that have done this with their dogs that have had cancer or tumors, and that they do is they will actually put it in like a coconut oil, they freeze it, and it becomes a treat. So think about our delivery system and how we want to deliver it, okay? So that's frankincense. Let's move on to the next ingredient, which is Helichrysum. Love Helichrysum. Helichrysum is a flower, and it actually is, it's the bone knitter is what this is. But it has a lot of other uses. There again, it's Helichrysum is a good one for using for like wrinkles, stretch marks. It's good for Helichrysum if you have nausea going on, or if you have like libido, or not libido, but oh, good grief, the inner ear problem where you are off, and you can put Helichrysum behind your ears, and it'll help you that dizziness and get you back. You can use it for nosebleeds. It's good for a coagulant. Okay, but you don't put it in the nose. You put it on the nose, not in the nose. Okay, never put anything in the nose. Never put anything in the eyes. Never put anything inside the ears. Okay, just saying. Put it around it, but not in it. And if you ever get any essential oil or anything in your eyes, I promise you won't go blind. First thing is, don't use water. Water is a driver, and it'll make it worse. Just relax first, close your eyes, and let them weep. Yes, you're going to weep. You're going to cry, but that's okay, because that's a process of removing what's in the eyes. It takes anywhere from, depends on what oil it is, and it depends on how much, but anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, you'll be fine. It'll go away, okay? You can use Helichrysum for nerve damage. You can use it for shock. Maybe alcohol addiction is another option. You could use it for varicose veins, sinus congestions, heavy metal detoxification. Helichrysum. This is Helichrysum. So if you are So it is a anti-spasmodic. It's anti-cardiac. It's a neurotonic, and it keeps going. It's an analgesic. So when we think about all those properties, what a Helichrysum has in it, this is part of the correct X. Okay, so let's move on. The next one down would be your cedarwood. It's a great combination of products. So let's look at cedarwood. Cedarwood is, you know, cedarwood is cedar. It smells like cedar, right? I love the smell of it actually, because I'm a wood person. And the top properties, now here's another, cedarwood is an anti-inflammatory. It's also a diuretic. It's an astringent. It's an antiseptic, and it's a sedative. So when you think about that, we can understand why they put cedarwood in here. Because if we want it for wound care, don't we want it kind of as a sedative too? So top uses for cedarwood: ADD, ADHD, maybe psoriasis, eczema. How about coughs? Cedarwood's good for the cough. Stroke, and you apply on the back of the neck or the bottom of the feet. How about gum health? A lot of us wouldn't think of cedarwood as for healthy gums, right? But really you can. You just apply it to the gums. Now, there again, you can swish it in your mouth. You may not like the flavor. You can add it with a coconut oil, like a fractionated coconut oil, and just place it on your gums, okay? Now, and then it can help in, you know, clove is best when it comes to gum health, but cedarwood is another one that's really good for that. How about an insect repellent? How many of you know that, oh, well, cedar, because a lot of times you have animals that will have cedar shavings in their bedding. Well, some animals have a reaction to that. So you can be really be comfortable with giving or having that cedar for bedding. But cedar in itself does inhibit your insects. What about acne? Cedarwood's good for acne. So if you have those little breakouts, you can just put some on your breakouts. And we always know that all of these essential oils are good for an emotional balance. We won't get into the emotional side of all these oils because that's not where I'm going today. I want to make sure that it's all about this little package that's really cost effective. And we'll talk about what this cost is. Now, that's cedarwood. What's the next one? The next one is Melaleuca. Melaleuca is the highest antibacterial you can get on the planet, okay? The other name for it is tea tree. So a lot of you know it by its name of tea tree, but its true name is Melaleuca. And so Melaleuca in itself, it is a very high antibacterial. And yes, there are companies called like the Melaleuca company, things like that, but that's different. Every product they have has Melaleuca in it. Now, Melaleuca, I do not recommend for your cats because there are ketones in Melaleuca that your cats cannot process. And so when we're looking at her in the animal world, we really have to look at what's in it, the constituents within each product. And if you're diffusing, it's a different story. Make sure that if you're diffusing anywhere, don't be afraid to diffuse anything with essential oil, like with Melaleuca in it, that in your home, even if you have a cat. The reason I say this is because if the cat can get away from it, it won't, if it doesn't want it, it won't be near it. It'll be in another room. But don't lock it in the bedroom and expect it to have to smell whatever it is that you're diffusing, okay? They need to be able to get away from it. And that's with any animal. Your dogs, your cats, anything that's in your home. I'll be a little more mindful if you have birds. Don't put a diffuser right by your bird. Please do it in the opposite side of the room if you have a big room, okay? You'll still get the benefits of diffusing, but they're not going to have it highly concentrated, and it's not going to kill them. It's just that the ketones, what can build up in their liver and their systems, and so, or they are not processing it, and then it can cause other problems, okay? So let's look at Melaleuca in itself. It's we know it's highly antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal. It's also an analgesic, and it's also a decongestant. How many think that you could use that? Or a decongestant. All right, we use it for wounds, right? Antibacterial, viruses, bacteria, maybe athlete's foot. How many of you know that you have like toe fungus? It's really good for that. And you might add a little bit of oregano with that, but you could use this product. Sore throats, don't put it down your throat. We're talking about Melaleuca, but that's what's in this, okay? So don't put this down your throat. Please don't do that. You can put it on the outside of your throat. You still get a benefit. No matter how you put them on you, they still get into your bloodstream. Whether you are using it topically or internally. The only time you want to think about internal consumption is if you want it to go through the digestive system. Like a probiotic, you've got to have it go through your digestive system because it's got to get into the intestines so it can colonize the intestines. You want the good flora. Okay, so back to Melaleuca. Ear infections, don't put it in the ear, put it behind the ear on the mastoid bone. You can put it right here on the outside of the ear, but never down the canal, okay? So the same with Correct X. You could put it right here on the outside or behind the ear, but don't ever just stick it down the canal. Pink eye, acne, staph or MRSA is really good because it's a high antibacterial. So there again, Correct X. Melaleuca is good for gum disease as well. Maybe rash, any kind of rash like hives, anything like that, something that's itchy, Melaleuca is really good for. So maybe think about bug bites. This is something you could carry around with you very easy. So bug bites, I mean, we're in the season, right, for bug bites, no matter how you look at it. Bee stings. And that brings me into lavender, because lavender is the last one of the ingredients, and it's great for burns, it's great for bee stings, insect bites, those kinds of things. Lavender, of course, is all calming, everything calming, right? But some people don't like the smell of lavender, and some people really feel that they're allergic to lavender. And it's a true thing, you know, that might be, but usually you're allergic to the pollen. You're not allergic to the essential oil that comes out of the plant material. So there's a different process and a different way of getting the smell, because you get those aromatic compounds from the plant, but you're not getting the pollen like most people are allergic to. I actually have someone that told me that they do have problems with lavender, the plant, but when they were introduced to lavender essential oil, they had someone push it on them. Now, I would never do this. It's, you know, it's a true thing. If you decide you want to try something, that's great, but otherwise, please don't. Or at least be prepared in case something happens, in case you do react, because it's mind over matter sometimes, even though it may not be a true reaction, but our brain remembers, our cells remember the reaction we have with anything. And so it will automatically create that reaction. It may not be as bad, but it will create the reaction. So this person told me that they couldn't have lavender, they were allergic to lavender, but someone made them try the lavender essential oil and they had no problem. And they were really surprised. Well, that's because it's a different process. It's a different way of getting that aromatic. But there again, think about how the cells react and remember how you react from whatever happened before. Different world when you're in a bee sting, okay? Can't avoid that. All right, but you can, I'm allergic to bees, okay? I do not carry an EpiPen. And usually it's the ground hornets and those types of that are really bad for me. And so first off, I don't panic. Second is that in case I do, well, This little booger is really good for that. But I apply the essential oils first, like lavender, okay, or clove. Clove is so good for that. And then I apply this over the top. And I had just a tiny bit of swelling. Yes, you saw it, because it was one of those days where not watching what I was doing and not watching where I was putting my hand. Wrong place at the right time. I was like, dang it. So I'm like, okay, walk up to the house, get my product. And it's like, this is another way of like, I'm so glad that I have what I have, because if I didn't have that, I would have had to have an EpiPen. How much are EpiPens? Oh my gosh, they're hundreds of dollars, right? And then they expire. So if I don't use it for years, I got to throw that money away and get another one. That's what they want you to do anyway. That's like, so I'm all about natural. And I had very little swelling. The itch stopped, and I had just a tiny little bit of redness. That's going to happen. But I never got any worse than that. Nothing ever happened. And was like, yay, I found the right thing to do for me. Clove first, and then the ointment. It was perfect. It has everything I needed in there. Okay, so let's talk more about lavender. Oh my gosh, you ready for this? Okay, lavender is a sedative. It's an astringent. It's an antihistamine. It is anti-cosmetic. It's an antidepressant, the whole thing calming, analgesic, hypertensive, nervine, relaxing, soothing, anti-cosmetic. I already said that, didn't I? Antibacterial, regenerative, and cardiotonic. Wow, a lot of things, right? I think everybody should have lavender in their kitchen for burns. We all burn ourselves, typically because we're not paying attention, right? Great for sleep issues, all things calming, stress, anxiety, that kind of thing. Hay fever, allergies, seasonal problems. How about your baby that's a little bit on the upset side? Put it on their feet. Wait about 15 minutes. You'd be surprised. Sometimes it doesn't take that long. Wounds, cuts, burns again. Blisters. How many blisters do you get when you're out there doing more than you should, cutting your shrubbery and things like that? Bug bites. Nosebleeds. Pink eye again. High blood pressure, because it's to calm you. Anything calming to bring that blood pressure down. How about migraines or headaches? Right there. Now, you don't always have to apply an essential oil to get the response you want. Sometimes all it takes is smell. Take the lid off and smell it. If I'm nauseated, I can take peppermint. I can take whatever, or use a digestant. It's a blend from doTERRA, and just smell it. Ginger is another one. You can just smell it, and it creates what it is that you need. I've done this. I actually did this in an airport one time. It's like, I'm sorry to overhear your conversation, but it was a crowded airport, and she was nauseated. And I'm like, would you like to try this? And so she smelt it, and we were talking. And then 5 minutes later, she goes, oh, I don't feel like my tummy doesn't hurt anymore. I'm like, awesome, take that with you, just in case. And we have been friends ever since, which is fun. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to need to help. That's why I like what I do. So when it comes to this little tiny package, it costs me as a member, it costs me like 12 bucks. That's cheap for me, because this goes a long way. What about, we already talked about those lesions that can be on your body, skin tags, wounds, or warts, things like that. So my husband usually has this one spot that he can't get rid of, but he uses the correct X and it goes away. I've used it on my horses for, you know, I apply it to a clean hoof on the bottom and put a line around the frog of the horse. And it's super easy because that's something that it's going to soak into the foot because it's clean, especially if you've just soaked their foot in a bucket of water. You can also put the oils in there. But this, put it on that frog and wrap it and let it soak into there. So it's anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, it's a sedative. So they're getting all those benefits of the essential oils that are in this product. I've used it on my chickens as an anti-inflammatory. I had a chicken with a sprained foot. I've used it there. But again, on a chicken, it's like a little teeny, super tiny little bit. A little bit goes a long way. So the smaller it is, the less you use and the more carrier oil you would use. So like if you have a little teeny tiny chick, don't use 2 drops of lavender. Use just tap the lid or the top of the bottle and put a little bit on their feet. That's all it needs, okay? So think about how you're using it. 1 drop, a little bit goes a long way. That's something you always have to keep in mind, especially with doTERRA, because it is highly concentrated. Because of that CPTG, that certified pure therapeutic grade value, it's 100% meets that standard every single time. There are no, oh, it's almost there. Nope, not done. So somebody else might get it, but we don't. And plus we have co-impact sourcing. doTERRA is 96% exclusive at this point in time. Their mission is to be 100% exclusive with every single essential oil that they have. So if someone tells you, oh, we get our oil in the same place as doTERRA, not likely, because it is. They might get it in the same area, but not the same grower. There is a difference, okay? And doTERRA gets to help. So there's co-impact sourcing. There is Healing Hands Foundation. There's a lot of ways that we get to help people. So think about, if you do not have a membership with doTERRA, then think about that. We have some great options right now. This tiny little tube gives you a whole lot for your money and goes everywhere. I take this camping because it's good for the burns, it's good for the blisters, it's good for everything, right? And it's convenient. Why not? All right, so that's correct X. Think about some other ways that you might be able to utilize this particular product because of what's in it. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that I've not even thought about that you could use this particular product with or on. And it's convenient, it's inexpensive, and it works great because it's a natural product versus a lot of chemical additives. So if someone has sent you this video and you are watching the replay, ask them how you can incorporate essential oils into your lifestyle and learn more about the value of essential oils and what they can bring into your life. So thanks for joining me today. We will see you again next week. And I look forward to finding something else that I can talk to you about where you can find more value and get your money's worth. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.